Commander, it's all there is now. Even Wizards of the Coast are trying to somehow rejuvenate Standard by making changes to it. They've realised they probably overcommitted to the non-competitive multiplayer format and kind of disregarded the rest. But we all love it. There is something inherently very fun about getting to play both Magic, one of the greatest game systems ever made, and play with your friends in an environment where you get to muck about and do dumb shit. Commander is not serious. It's not here to be played competitively for the most part. EDH exists and I respect it and enjoy it, but Commander is the muckabout social format. So naturally, Commander comes with this idea that conversation and chill hangs and good times with your friends come with it. Of course, there are situations where you play with randomers and strangers at your local game store. It's not your established friend group or pod. It might be new players, but overall, everyone's there to have quite a chill time playing Magic. Of course, there are sweats, but you get them and everything, right? But one of the other big parts of Commander is that the games take a long time. In my opinion, too fucking long. And I think the conversational and casual element of that can really slow it down, but I don't think you should remove that from the game at all. I don't think that shouldn't be part of the format. It is, in essence, a part of the format. It's a reason to play this really much slower, much more casual version of Magic. If I want to have the challenge of the mental game of Magic, I'll play 1v1. That said, I do think we can improve the game and the speed at which we play by implementing one simple rule that I thought was obvious, but when I tweeted about it a little while ago, some people didn't like that I said it. I've mentioned it to players at my local store and not all of them kind of get it. It's one simple rule. If it's your turn, you don't converse. You'll say, I play. And when I play, I ain't saying. I'm not saying you can't announce your game actions or ask the conversation to be paused to talk about what's happening. I'm saying you need to shut the fuck up. I'm going to unpack this whole conversation in today's video and talk about this, but first, a quick message from me and what I'm getting up to with Whatnot. This Thursday, I am live streaming on whatnot.com or on the Whatnot app, where I live auction off bits, and I've got an Urza's Saga booster pack. That's right, you can open a Chaos Cradle. Auctioning starts at £1 singular, and then we auction up from there. The winner will get to open it. I'll open it on stream for them, and they'll get everything that's in the pack. And if you miss out on the option to get a Gaia's Cradle, I'm live streaming from Comic-Con this Saturday. Saturday, the 27th of May, I will be at Comic-Con. I'll be live streaming from the Whatnot booth, and I'll be selling a Gaia's Cradle. Auction starts at £1 singular. I'm regularly streaming on Whatnot twice a month now. Check out the links in the description below. And if you use the invite link down below, your first purchase, you get £10 off. So you get £10 of free Magic cards. It's free real estate, to use a meme from the internet. Before we get into the crux of the whole video, please tell me in the comment section below, do you have a house rule of your own that you think I should talk about in a video? Now, I am doing this for engagement. I love it when people comment my videos because it makes the videos do better, but I also want to expand with some ideas from other people on how to improve my experiences and my time playing Commander with my friends and at the local store. If you've got a house rule, drop it down below. Variety is the spice of life. I will often have 5 or 6 Commander decks in my bag with the intention of playing at least 2/3 of them in a night. I get that some people like one singular big game of Commander that's Battleship and Cruiser and no one's really attacking anyone or being antagonistic. I've said this before, but it's the Magic the Gathering equivalent of playing Age of Empires and building up your bases and agreeing not to attack each other in a LAN party for the first 4 hours. You can replace Age of Empires in that with Civilization, Command and Conquer, even Civ, I guess. But personally, I would rather by turn 8, which should come about reasonably quickly, we're done. Or turn 10 or whatever, we're just done. Someone wins, create a hoof, combo, whatever. The attrition is done, and we move on to the next game. The alternative to that is that I might have a deck that I've just built that I might want to get 3 or 4 or 5 reps in to get a feel for it. Because when you're playing 100 card singleton, testing out cards is actually really difficult. The best way to do that is to speed up the games without damaging the flow of conversation and the hangs. So for example, there's a few things you can do. First of all, roll 1 dice at the beginning of the game. Here's a free one for you. Don't roll 4 dice and then get a tie, have to roll again, and one player drops the dice. Nominate 4 players at the table, D20, divisible by 4, 5, 10, 15, 20, roll a dice. If you get in that part of the die, so 1 to 5 is player A, 6 to 10 is player B, they're going first. Done. Absolutely done. No fucking about. Secondly, and this is just a bit of advice to new players, if you're new watching this or reasonably green, no, it's not an insult. We all are. I'm pretty green at Pokemon right now, I've recently picked up. But think about your turn ahead of time. Don't chat, and then when the turn has passed, you look at the 9 cards in your hand, 12 mana, 15 different fucking things in play and be like, I don't know what I'm doing. That's fucking dumb. Think ahead, plan ahead, just get a basic idea of what's happening so we can finish this game of Magic, because Magic games should end. But of course, if you are of the persuasion that Magic games don't need to end, and you're happy playing one game of Commander that lasts 5 hours, because that's just what you and your friends like to do, then more power to you. I'm not yucking your yum. But I think we should start to implement, and I really believe this, as a community, the house rule, the etiquette, the good manners, that when it's your turn, you don't carry on talking in the current conversation. You focus on what you're doing, you take game actions with the intention of moving towards passing the turn as reasonably promptly as possible. If someone is talking about something that you really want to engage with, that's reasonable. Say, oh, I want to come back to that when it's not my turn. Or after your turn, say, oh, can we go back to that thing you're talking about? I've got a point I want to make. You can do that. I don't know why I'm teaching you the basics of social interaction, but you're allowed to do that. And part of this social contract also involves us as other players at the table not fucking with the player whose turn it is. Like, this isn't an invite or an opportunity to troll them. You can't like start asking them questions and then when they go to answer go, no sir, you play. We are here to facilitate a good conversation and a good game of Magic at the same time, and sometimes those two can be a little bit conflicting in terms of time restraints. Like, there's nothing worse than only playing Commander once a week for a 3-hour stint at your game store on a Thursday night or a Friday night, or maybe a 4-hour stint at best, and you play only one game of Commander. You've been looking forward to this all fucking week. I remember before I was a creator, I'm very lucky that Magic is my job now, but it used to be that I would daydream about playing Magic. I would be sat in my shit bank jobs or my shit supermarket jobs, and I would just be thinking about brewing, building, playing, and talking about Magic. So when it got to like playing at an FNM where I only get like 2 games, maybe I got the bye, or my opponent got Mana Screwed, or I got Mana Screwed, nothing really happened, it was a shame. And that happened for Commander too. I can remember nights where I'd only get 1 game in, or even 2 games in, and I'm like, that's just not enough. I haven't got my fill. We do live in a world now where digital Magic does give you that fill. It does give you that ability to play more games during the week. I play games at all times of the fucking night. I'll be having a shit at 1 o'clock in the morning playing Pokemon on my phone at the moment. I'm really liking the Pokemon TCG. There'll be videos on that soon. But Commander hasn't really got that. You can play Commander on Modo, but I'll be honest, Commander on Modo has its own issues and taking fucking ages. It's not a fun thing to do. It's not a very good social experience either when you're playing with strangers. The social experience of playing with strangers at your store in paper Magic is a lot better than playing online where you're typing through a little text box. Oh God, imagine if there was a good digital version of Commander through something like Arena. God, imagine the cost of it. Wizards would absolutely ruin us. Wizards would fucking milk every drop, every ounce, every penny out of us. It'd be embarrassing. Anyway, what was my point? Oh yeah, don't talk during your turn. And some people misconstrued what I said on Twitter. I tweeted this like a month or 2 ago, back in April. And people were saying, well, like, they come to have conversation. Conversation is one of the big draws of going to their store or their game night, local group, friend's house, or whatever. And I'm not saying you can't have conversation. I'm saying when it's your turn, you take a back seat in that conversation. You become a bystander. You become that person who's checking their phone. But instead of checking their phone, you're playing the game of Magic, your turn. On that note, on a side note that I haven't really thought about until I said that, I really dislike it when people are fucking around on their phones. Like, it's antisocial for the conversation, and it often leads to people not knowing what's going on in the game, want to backtrack to a point that something happened. Like, if someone is chatting within the social confines of the conversation around Commander, and they say, oh, whoa, go back a second, was there a trigger I could respond to? Oh, you know what, fucking rewind, back up. I am here to support that. If you were just tweeting or scrolling Instagram or swiping left and right on fucking Tinder, I've had that. I had a friend who used to Tinder mid EDH game. It's fucking annoying. If you miss things then, like, I have no fucking sympathy for you, right? We are here to be social and play Magic, not for you to be social with like strangers on the internet elsewhere. Fuck that. This rule is designed to allow conversation to flow whilst the game simultaneously flows as well. It is a big part of Commander that at some point you're going to have to ask, well, whose turn is it? But if you implement this rule correctly, that will lessen. That will become less needed because the person whose turn it is very clear because they're not engaged in the conversation right now. They're paying attention to their board state and they may even be taking game actions. And again, some people kicked back and said like they don't like it when people talk in their turn. And I mean, I think that's where you got to have that conversation with the people you're playing with, right? Are we looking to have a game where we focus solely on the game actions, which is a completely valid way to play? I actually quite like that sometimes. It's a different dynamic. It's probably more akin to the CDH games where the games don't last very long because everyone is just doing their shit and getting on with it. That's one way to play. But if you're in the social element where people want to chat and discuss and talk about Magic and the world or how your kids are or whatever, then people are going to converse on your turn. I think it's also completely acceptable from an etiquette perspective to pause other people's conversation, to butt in and be like, oh, 1 second, I'm casting this. Do you have any responses? And everyone was like, no, cool, whatever. Carry on doing your thing. Like, again, I feel like I'm teaching people to suck eggs here, but it's interesting that people have annoyances with some of this stuff. Because I think ultimately it should work if we're all on the same page, or at least your play group is all on the same page. There's an additional version of this that I quite like. It was by a Twitter user called Brendan Burns, @SkidMacker, who said, I'll go further. No non-game talk for the first X turn. They said 10 with a question mark. That's probably too many. I like this idea that you all agree that we're going to get through our mulligan decision on our first 3-4 turns of land, Soul Ring, Cultivate, Farseek, or whatever, to the point that then decisions actually have to be made. The early turn should be so simple. It is absolutely fucking wild to me that sometimes I can play a game at my store and I can not get to my second turn for the first 10-15 minutes of the game. Like, how fucking hard is it to resolve a mulligan, play a land, and pass? So cutting down on the external chit chat just to get the game into the bit that's fun. Because resolving ramp spells isn't that exciting, everyone. Anyway, that's my rather provocative on the front of it, but not that provocative when you think about it, way to improve our games of Commander. To get more games of Commander in, is just to shut the fuck up and take your game actions. I love conversation and I love socializing. I just think that you need to shut up, Trevor, and pass the fucking turn. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Do you have a house rule yourself that I should talk about in a video? Let me know, and I'll see you all soon. Ta-ta for now.